So today we'll be looking at a scenario where Turkey decides to form an empire in 2026. They will be unrealistically strong and there won't be any alliances in the world, no NATO or anything like that. Turkey will be coloured red and enemies of Turkey will be coloured blue. But before we get into the video, I would ask you guys to subscribe to the channel as it would help me out a lot. It is a new channel. This is the first video, so it would help me out a lot and I'd very much appreciate it. So the first place Turkey would attack would probably be Syria. Syria itself is unstable and it was part of the Ottoman Empire lands, which Turkey is trying to reclaim here. Obviously I'm going to make the Ottomans like incredibly overpowered. So they're going to invade in from the north of Syria, taking a bunch of land obviously. Syria itself is unstable. And I don't believe has a very strong military when it's compared to Turkey. No, I don't think so. There's a lot of is there oil in Syria? I don't know, but there's a lot in the Middle East which they're gonna go for. They're gonna go for the Middle East, a lot of the Middle East, which honestly would probably annoy the USA. Yeah, Syria didn't stand a chance there. Look at that, fully annexing Syria. And there you go, look. Much bigger, much more powerful, more... I think there's oil in Syria. Yeah, they're going for the old Ottoman lands. So instead of going into the Middle East, we're actually going to do something quite interesting. We're going into Greece, and another sake of simplicity, NATO will not be, won't exist. So they're going to be invading from Greece's eastern lands, from Thrace. They're also going to be invading from Rhodes, doing a little bit of island hopping here and there, coming in from the south too. Here, coming in, look. Yeah, Greece will fight back a little bit, push them back up north. The south, however, is fully the Turks. Turks taking over the south, taking the capital for a brief moment. That Greece is taking back their north. Peninsula is theirs again, but this land is firmly under Turkish control. And actually, the Turks are having a bit of a tougher time with Greece. They are a stronger country out of the ones that they will be attacking at. So they do struggle a little bit. Capture some cities and such is a bit of a struggle. But they do slowly but surely, they do come down south with a lot of resistance, and they do get pushed back here a little bit. Just a little bit. But they do not get pushed off. They're coming down though, coming back for Athens. They do take these lands here. And Greece is close to capitulation. Turks are taking back this land that was taken back. Now it's just Athens. They're coming from the south here. And Greece is gone. They're gone. We're gonna make them Turkish. They're Turkish now. Greece is gone. Next is gonna be a small one. It's gonna be Cyprus. Cyprus is next. This will not take long at all. Cyprus is one of the weakest countries they'll be going up against. It will be simple and easy. Just like that. Cyprus is gone. Yeah, look at that. It's like the Byzantine Empire, kind of. Not this bit though, like kind of this bit. Like the Byzantine Empire. That's gonna scare some countries. Quite a few countries, yeah. So the next target is Bulgaria. Bulgaria is gonna be a bit tough as well. Not as tough as Greece, I wouldn't say. But anyway, they're gonna be coming in from the south at Thrace again. They do get a little bit of resistance here. Actually, it is quite strong. It is quite a strong resistance, and actually, they do try and invade themselves, which goes well because it was a surprise. They didn't really the Turks didn't really expect this. It does kind of work at the beginning, but then it just doesn't. They get fully pushed back, pushed out. Out they go. Out they go, and they're being invaded again. So, yep, that was a short counter-offensive. Didn't last long. It was effective for a very short amount of time. The Turks, however, are keeping their front line stable. They're not really getting pushed back much. They are a little bit, but not much. Not much at all. They do get cut off here and encircled, but they do manage to retreat back down to here before they get fully taken out. However, the Western Front over here, Bulgaria is not having a good time. They are completely losing. No battles won, nothing. They are slowly closing in on the east. On the coast of Bulgaria, they are closing in. And they come in from the south here. And they completely just take Bulgaria by surprise there. And again, full annexation, so yeah, their northern border now is quite good. Yeah, look at that. Something does happen. Something not very good happens. There is a coalition that forms against Turkey. This involves, and do bear in mind, Turkey is very, very strong, okay? They're very strong, but this does involve all of these guys. Romania, Lebanon gets involved. Jordan, Iraq. Yeah, it's a big coalition surrounding them. Montenegro does get involved. Montenegro does. All of these countries get involved. They are involved. So all of the Caucasian countries, a lot of the Balkans, and a lot of their south, pretty much all of their south, other than Israel and Palestine, does get involved. And there is a coalition against Turkey. They will get invaded first, and bad, very bad. The land that they just got is being, they say, liberated, and the Bulgarians believe it. Bulgarians don't like being under the Turks, and this coalition says we're going to take down the Turkish Empire, and they do get all of Bulgaria back, and they do manage to get quite a bit of Greece up here too. I mean, it's just an overwhelming force for Turkey at the moment because they weren't ready. They weren't ready whatsoever. The south over here is getting invaded, and yeah, it's not looking too good. To begin with, this war is not going to go in their favor because they were so completely surprised. As I said, however, soon enough, I would say they will get back on their feet. They'll kind of recuperate themselves and get back on their feet a little bit. See what they can do about the situation. They have been pushed back to Thrace over here. It really isn't looking too great, and in fact, Thrace is being taken from them. And they are pushed back to Istanbul. And the coalition cannot cross the strait. So these guys are stuck going against their Greek lands now, which they don't manage to fully do. They get this land, but this land is firmly Turkish. Firmly Turkish. Now, we have something interesting happening. Turkey, because they know they can easily defend this. It's not a big front line, and they can easily defend this and this. They can easily defend those. They are actually going to focus on their east first. They cut these two off from each other, and they focus in on the south. Focus in on the south going down fast. They are blitzing through the desert. They're blitzing through the desert, pushing them all out of their territory very quickly, very quickly. Very quick. It's a slaughter. In fact, they very quickly take Lebanon out. Lebanon is out. And they're after Jordan now, trying to get all these powers out. And it goes well. Iraq does not come to their aid. They are too focused on pushing back in to Turkey here. They're pushing back in, and it goes well. It goes well at first. And then they get pushed back bad. It's very bad. And they got no front line now. However, these guys up north, they continue pushing because Turkey isn't really focused on them right now. They continue pushing. Pushing and pushing and pushing. Further west. Close to their capital, which is around, like, here. Somewhere here, I believe. Goal now is to go after Iraq to get rid of the southern enemies here, the southern coalition. Iraq is not very strong compared to Turkey, like, at all. Pushing in from their Jordan lands too. It's not a good day to be living in Iraq right now. Not at all. These guys are getting massacred. Completely and utterly massacred. It's bad. Very, very bad. And they don't... Iraq tries to push back a little bit, but they can't. Literally, they are getting blitzed. Because Turkey needs to be fast here, because the East and European coalition fronts are... They're pushing. So they need to blitz their southern enemies here, which they are doing. Very effectively. Very effectively. Look at that. Just like that. Iraq is out. So these guys, they're continuing to go. And they're pushing a bit south now too. Very effective pushes. West, even more. Turkey is losing their Black Sea coast very quickly. See, now they're in a pickle because if the Eastern Front gets to straight, that's they're finished. They're done. They will not win. So they very quickly skip this area. They go here very quickly, and they start pushing very hard. Pushes back, back, and they are literally blitzing for their own territory. It's bad. It's really bad. For the coalition, it's bad. They got rid of one front, and that's messed up the coalition completely, pretty much. Messed it up. Like, if the Eastern Front got to the Strait, the coalition would have won. Most definitely. But no. Whoa, you were not quick enough. Eastern Coalition, you were not quick enough. Nope. So now, they are being pushed out of Turkish territory very quickly. And these guys don't stand a chance. There was no troops here, which is why they could, walk. There was troops, but there wasn't a lot. Because they were all kind of fighting down here in the south. So there wasn't really a lot. They kind of just walked through Turkish territory, but now they're all here. They don't stand much of a chance, to be honest. They don't care about borders. They're taking them all out. All of them. There isn't one that will live. Nope. This country gone. Gone. Going after Georgia next. Being invaded. The Georgian, they do push back a little bit. Yeah, but it didn't last long. They're gone. Boom. They're gone, and all of a sudden, the Black Sea coast of the Turkish Empire is very big again. Yep, it's big, and it will be bigger. taking a break from the eastern coast here, the eastern coalition here. Going back over here, the European front does manage to take this, which is not good. Because this does mean they can focus on island hopping now, and they go to Crete, then they go to Rhodes, then they're over here. Not good. Not good. And they also, while they're at it, they take Cyprus. Not good. It's... How do I put this? It's a bloodbath for the Turks, the troops that are here. So yeah, western coast of Turkey is pretty finished. They managed to come over here. Yeah, it's not good. But they see this and they just... Caucasian countries out. These guys, they are going to be tough. For the Turks, I would say they're going to be a bit tough. They're not going to let you get back the strait very easily. So this area, they do try, but it's not happening. The south, it's a bit better, but it's tough. It's very tough. They do take back roads. They do not get to Crete though, or Cyprus yet. They do take back roads, taking back these places here, but they are reinforcing the strait here. They are reinforcing that very easily. Something very bad happens. Very annoying, like a distraction for the Turks. The European front of the coalition manages to liberate Lebanon. And they actually start invading again. And from Cyprus, they come up here and over here. So yeah, not good. And they also they liberate Jordan. They liberate it completely. Turkey is kind of getting beaten up, just a little bit. But this may not last too long, because Turks are recuperating. This was a complete surprise attack again. Like, they didn't know that was going to happen. Not at all. From Cyprus, it turned out Cyprus was not good for them to get. It was not good for them to lose Cyprus. Not at all. However, they do manage to push back up here a little bit, but they do have to, you know, spread out their forces now, so they can't fully push here. These guys do take back here. However, the Turks are coming. They are on their way back, taking these guys out again. Island hop to Cyprus. But they do go south quite easily. And they do just about manage to take these guys back again. They do slow down at the south of Jordan though. They are starting to get a bit war exhausted, I would say. In that time, Europeans obviously took this stuff back, which is not ideal, but what's very not ideal for the Europeans is that Turkey can now focus all of their energy on them. Europeans tried with a southern distraction. They tried, but they didn't get to the capital. Just like here somewhere. Something like that. Yeah, they didn't. There's going to be two fronts for the Turks now. It's going to be over here and here, not here. They're going to push him from the east and it's going to be very successful. Very successful. The south is a bit harder because there's a lot of Europeans there. But they are managing. They are managing. And they do eventually push them back. Almost almost to the strait, which the Europeans are not letting go of. That, you know, look, they tried like this, they tried, but it's like back and forth constantly. So there's another method. They island hop and come in from the south, which is exactly what they do. Boom. They got a landing. They take back Athens. No, they weren't expecting them to come from the south, so there wasn't actually a lot of troops here. They weren't expecting that. All the troops are over here in Thrace and the Strait, so they weren't expecting that whatsoever, like at all. Wasn't expected. Completely just out of the blue, came from the south, which isn't good because that's right next to Albania. That's very not good. They really try push, and it works for a minute. It works for quite a while actually, but it like barely pushed. But they did push for quite a while. The Turks are like, nope. Yeah, all the attention is now on the Europeans, and that's not good. Not at all. They actually don't go to it for Albania first. They do go in there, but they kind of struggle. They go for North Macedonia. That was called North Macedon, something like that. I don't remember. North Macedon, but they are taking back their lands quite quickly, and they are getting to the strait, which they're still holding. They don't see a point in it, so they go there, and yeah, they retreat, and they do push in because the Europeans literally they stand no chance, dude. They stand no chance. The amount of soldiers that joins the military, Turkish military, because of this coalition is insane. So they're stronger than they've ever been. Even though they've lost a bunch of people, they're stronger than they've ever been. It's easy. The Europeans have lost so many people, so many soldiers. They're out, man. They really tried. To no avail. They're out. It's Romania. Romania is the last one. They're it. So in the end of it, they surrender, and the coalition has been defeated. So I'm gonna draw these borders, and you will see the final look of their empire they've created here very quickly. Okay, so as you can see, they fully annex every single country except for Romania, but they do take the most important parts of Romania, which is their south. I believe their capital's down here and their coast, and a little bit of I think this is Azerbaijan, maybe something like that. I think so. So yeah, this is what they end up looking like. Pretty big. I would say, yeah. Well, hey, look at that. The Middle East is pretty clean now, huh? And this is what I think Turkey would look like if they wanted to create an empire again. Nice, pretty good.